Okay, so if any of you don't want to show your faces, and as we're recording, please feel free to turn your screen off. So, welcome to Discover Yourself Within. We are, can you see all of that? I'm trying to minimize it here. We would like to thank you, first of all, for taking time out of your evening just to listen to what we have to say tonight. We are a group of life coaches who have a common goal of helping people to find their inner strengths. We have a variety of backgrounds and experience and are certain that you will take something positive away tonight. First of all, we would like to ask you to hold any questions you have until the end, and then we will just take them all. It's just that so that we can keep going in a good time frame. Our first speaker tonight is TK, and TK is an amazing woman. I've known her for the last couple of years. I've just seen so much growth in her and so much positive stuff happening in her life since I've met her. And she has an amazing story. She's a survivor, she's a fighter, and she is one fascinating woman. TK, go ahead.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Diane, and greetings, everybody. First of all, I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming today because time is a precious commodity and we only get 1,440 minutes every day, and I value your time.
That's great. Listen.
We want to mute everyone.
What?
Work or celebrate or somewhere in a place.
Hey, Diane. Is everyone mute? Everyone was talking. Okay. All right. As I was saying, I just want to thank you all for your time. Hi, I am TK Mason and I am a tardigrade. Just what is a tardigrade, you ask? Well, tardigrades, also called water bears or moss piglets, they're a phylum of 8-legged segmented microanimals that can survive the most extreme situations. They've been shot out of cannons, they've even been frozen, and they've even landed on the moon. They can survive almost anything, and I, like them, am a tough survivor too. And I'm here to tell you that you can be too. In fact, not just survive, but thrive. Let me ask you a question. Are you sick of being tired? Are you sick of being sick? Have you battled with any illnesses, diseases, constant nausea, or any other physical limitations? Do you keep replaying the same broken story over and over in your head, or buying into the labels people or yourself has spoken over you? Do you feel alone and that no one cares or sees you? Well, I've been there. For well over a decade, my army of world-renowned doctors have labeled me as one of the most clinically fascinating outliers they have ever seen. I've fought to stay alive. I've been seconds from death more times than I can count. I've survived a 7-centimeter blood clot in my left leg, 7 cryptogenic strokes, multiple neurological and GI disorders, head traumas, cervical dystonia, neuropathy, endless dizziness and nausea, an undiagnosable form of dysautonomia that is being driven by an unknown autoimmune disease. I have central sensitization syndrome, and of course, all that fed right into my complex PTSD. With a rap sheet like that, you're probably wondering, how am I even alive? Despite the clinically fascinating label, let me tell you that there is nothing clinical about me. I am simply a fascinating outlier, and I'm excited to be here with you all today. The number one question doctors and people ask me is, how did I go from being so sick, only unable to take a few steps at a time, to where I started thriving despite my health? I've amazed my doctors by hiking the Grand Canyon rim to rim in just over 12 hours, then showing up the very next day to the Mayo Clinic for my next round of testing. Not only that, but I've accomplished, today marks my 1,050th day in a row. I've taken over 10,000 steps a day. That's around 5 miles a day, which to me is even more remarkable than walking rim to rim of the Grand Canyon. Today, I would like to share 3 key things that helped me move from a place where I just was surviving to a life that I started to thrive in. And that would be, first, my faith, second, my mindset, and 3, resiliency. First, my faith. I've always believed in my faith, but I had never really surrendered to it. When I was sick and laying in my hospital bed in ICU, it didn't take me very long to realize that I wasn't in control and that I needed something that was greater and bigger than I could ever be. Being sick has been the loneliest and scariest decade of my life, and I wouldn't be here today if I had not aligned and anchored in God myself, if I had not anchored in God first. My question to you to ponder is, what do you align and anchor yourself in? Is it greater than yourself? Or is it limited to what you alone think you're capable of? The second is mindset. The word mindset seems to be a really hot topic globally lately. What is a mindset? How can we generate a healthy growth-oriented one as opposed to a fixed negative mindset? And how do we change our old thought patterns and programs? Well, when it comes to mindset, I don't think anyone has explained it any better than neuroscientist Dr. Caroline Leaf. She describes it in 3 simple words: think, feel, choose. Number 1, think. What voice is the loudest in your head right now? What thought comes to the forefront of your head over and over again? Go ahead, and I'm going to take a second for everybody to just silence to see what thought comes to your head right now. Was it a good thought, a healthy thought, or are you listening to a broken down toxic thought that haunts you? 2, feel. Now that you have that thought in your head, how does it make you physically feel? Does your heart rate? Do you feel nauseous? Do you ruminate over and over about something? Does it depress or excite you? There are just so many signs our body gives when something isn't right. Number 3, you get to choose. Once we've become aware of these thoughts and aware of how it's affecting us physically and mentally, then we get to choose. Yes, I believe in this toxic thought, or no, I don't believe in it. So then when you get to choose, you get to flip the story on that thought and start making it work for you and not against you. Once you can flip the narrative of that thought, then you can start reprogramming your own brain to respond differently. It all comes down to think, feel, and choose. Now let's talk about that third factor, resiliency. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is no easy task. It takes daily effort and time to work on your mindset. It means showing up for yourself every single day and doing the work because nobody else can do the work for you. For me, being resilient is being a tardigrade. You have to endure some more, choosing the light over the darkness, even if what can sometimes feel like an endless vacuum of space. Changing our mindset powers up the neuroplasticity of our brains. Neuroplasticity is another hot topic globally. Mindset and neuroplasticity go together hand in hand. Neuroplasticity basically means that our brains are constantly capable of reorganizing and reshaping our responses to experiences, learning, and even environmental factors. Our brains have the immense potential for personal growth, cognitive enhancement, and recovery from injury or trauma. By consciously altering our mindset, we actively engage and harness the power of neuroplasticity, shaping our brains to adapt, evolve, and thrive in accordance to our aspirations and goals. Embracing the symbolic relationship between mindset and neuroplasticity empowers us to cultivate resilience, develop new skills, and navigate the complexities of life with greater flexibility and resilience. I have proven over and over that the impossible is not impossible by changing my mindset and harnessing the power of neuroplasticity. The biggest example I can give you right now is that my cervical dystonia. Before, my head used to sit like this, pull and torque 24/7, the most miserable thing ever. But after consistent rewiring, my head now stays here. Still, it's not perfect, but it is a long way from where I started. And it's a blessing to be able to say that. So I'm here today to be a voice for the vulnerable, to let you know that you are not alone on your journey. That's why I've launched my own company called Outlier Healing, where I'm a speaker and a wellness and trauma coach for the sick and the injured as I walk you through my process of helping using your mindset and equipping you with the tools to achieve your goal. Please reach out to me at info@outlierhealing.com for your free discovery call, and let's see how I can walk with you through your wellness journey so that you too can thrive no matter your circumstances. I'll wrap it up with this quote from Montel Williams. He said, "You have no say in what happened to you, but you have a say in what you do about it. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you do about it. It's your turn and your time to do something about it." So I just want to thank you all for your time, and remember to be brave, be strong, be kind to yourself, and keep on stepping. And with that, I would love to introduce our next amazing guest speaker, Angela Dube. Angela is a life and parent coach. She's a busy mom to 3 boys, aged 6, 9, and 10. And she's been married to her husband for 10 years. So take it away, Angela.
Thank you, TK, for introducing me. I just want to take a minute to thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. As TK said, my name is Angela. The 2 pictures you see are of my family, my husband Frankie, and our 3 boys, Caden, Denver, and Holden. They are the reason I coach today. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about 3 moments in my life. Moments I never thought I would get through, but now looking back, I can see the inner strength I had to get through those moments. I say moments because that's all they are in my journey. Or you could say a page in my chapter of my book on my journey. Let's look back at these moments and see what helped me have inner strength. My first moment was when my oldest son was 6 years old. He was diagnosed with dyslexia. The psychologist kept apologizing to us and said, "Sorry, but your son is severely dyslexic and he will never get better, only worse. School will be very hard for him," and continue to apologize. I finally had to stop and say, "To you, this might seem as a death sentence, but to us, it's not. My husband is dyslexic and he has created a great life for himself. Our son will do great things." Without knowing it, I had drawn a line in the sand. I had made a split-second decision on my values. And in my opinion, I chose to be empathetic to my son, help him be as resilient as possible, and put my family above all else. I stood up for my son that day. Values are so important. They are what you build yourself on. It acts as your compass when you're making decisions, and they push you when you have nothing left. Values can change throughout your lifetime. You can even lose them. And trust me when I say, once you have lost them, you can lose yourself as well. Do you know what your values are? If you don't, here's an activity you can do on your own to find your top 3 values. Let me explain. Step 1, you're going to write down 50 values you believe in. Step 2, you're going to remove 25 of those values. Step 3, remove 15 of those remaining values. Step 4, now you should have 10 remaining values. You will remove 7 of those values. Step 5, you have found your top 3 values. Congratulations. Once you have completed this activity, take a look and see if your values align with your life today. Did those values help you when you struggled? My second moment was in January 2020 when I was diagnosed with depression. I was at the lowest I had ever been, and no matter where I looked, I just saw the black cloud surrounding me. I was battling my own inner demons while still trying to fight for my son with dyslexia. I had to do something to figure out why I had depression. So I got into therapy and started working with a life coach. Both started talking about how changing my mindset and the story I told myself could help me build my inner strength to get out of this black cloud. At first, I would beat myself up for all my failures, and I would treat myself horribly and say some very mean things. So I started small, and when I would say I can't, I would replace it with I can. I looked at the failures as learning opportunities, and slowly my mindset changed from a surviving mindset to a thriving mindset. I got through what I thought was my darkest days by changing my mindset. My third moment has been my hardest moment. When my oldest was 8 years old, he was diagnosed with depression and suicidal thoughts. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. I was listening to the psychiatrist tell us her findings, and I remember repeating in my head to not break in front of him. Show him he can do this. At the same time thinking, how is this happening? He's only 8 years old. My world had gone black, and this was one fight I didn't know how to fight. I was still seeing my therapist, and she told me to make a mantra, something I would read on the worst days to remind me to get up and fight, get up and move forward, to just get up. The mantra I wrote that day was, I am stronger than this moment. It is time to dust myself off and get back up. I am brave to fight this battle, and I am strong to stand up and try again. I am finding myself again. Be proud of myself. Look how far you have come. Take a breath, take a minute, but do not give up. I am a fighter, and this will not beat me down. Those words were plastered in multiple places in my house. They got me through what I never thought I would survive. Last year at Certified Flourishing Coaching, I learned that mantras empower us to rewrite limiting or demeaning beliefs about our life with new programming, creating new and empowering beliefs. New beliefs lead to new behaviors, which lead to new benefits. No wonder those words were so powerful and helpful. In that course, one of the students gave me a mantra that he wrote for me. It is now saved as my screensaver on my phone, and it states, I am the eye of the hurricane. I am the peace in the midst of chaos, and I mount on the wings of eagles and fly above the storm. If you're struggling to find your inner strength, start by looking back at those moments you struggled in. Look for the strengths that got you through. Take the time to find your values. Build yourself a powerful mantra to help you in those dark days. And remember to take it a moment at a time, or even just a step at a time. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to my story and how you could find your inner strengths. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions via email at coachangeladubé@gmail.com. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. John Jacobs is the founder and CEO of Healthier Living For You. Healthier Living For You was started after John's wife, Beverly's health was slipping away from her, and John was helpless to stop it. She was in terrible pain, exhausted from lack of sleep, and falling deeper into depression as she struggled to fight her way back to health. This is when we discovered the toxic truth. Toxins, chemicals, and medications are destroying our health and shortening our lives. We have found a simple answer to a complex problem. Thus, the ionic foot bath system was born to bring safe and easy, complete body, cellular energy rebalance system and help restore Beverly's health. Now here's John Jacobs to tell us more about it.
Thanks for the intro there, Angela, and thank you all to all the attendants here tonight. So as Angela introduced, we are Healthier Living For You, and we help holistic and health-conscious people and leaders to reset and recharge with our high-tech cellular energy rebalance system. So this is me, John, and the love of my life, Bev. And our passion is helping people experience life with a body free of toxins, helping people live a healthy life and not have to go through all the struggles that Bev had to go through. Our background is Bev was just in terrible pain, exhausted from lack of sleep and falling deeper into depression as she struggled to fight her way back to health. Chronic fatigue, joint pain, and insomnia were making it even harder. We were desperate for a solution, but the doctors couldn't help us. Nobody had any answers, just more drugs. Actually, it was a hair analysis determined Bev had too many toxins and heavy metals in her body, mostly mercury and lead. Bev tried every detox method available, including the pills, the drinks, herbal cleanses, even chelation therapy, which is an intravenous drip. And nothing worked until we stumbled upon a therapy called the Ion Detox Foot Bath, a complete body cleanse that pulls toxins from your body safely and easy using ionization. And almost immediately, this strange little unit helped draw out the toxins from Bev's overstressed body, rebuild her immune system, and she began feeling herself again after many, many years of pain and fatigue. And it was incredible how fast we saw results. And it only takes 30 minutes 2 to 3 times a week of your time and can be done while you relax in your favorite chair. So what brought us here? I'm not a doctor. Well, I'm sort of a doctor, an auto doctor, in other words, a mechanic. This is when I use my skills to design, develop, and manufacture our very own HyperBath Pro ionic rebound system, what I believe to be the most advanced, the most powerful cellular energy rebound system on the planet. So the solution that the HyperBath Pro is better than a detox foot bath. Today's advanced technology has given us a broader and deeper understanding of the world we live in and the life that we are experiencing in these human bodies. Our system provides a complete rebalance of the complete body intercellular energy, helping us to improve our health and invigorate our energy by stimulating the body's detoxification processes, and it charges the electromagnetic fields. The HyperBath Pro cellular energy rebound system generates ionic microcurrents that stimulate the body to unwind and open, increasing the flow of energy throughout the light body and the chakra system. And what we found, the HyperBath can be very, very helpful for clearing both the chakras and the layers of the aura. We encourage you to try it out for yourself and experience a lighter, more joyful mental and emotional state of being. You know, my wife and I are in this business to change lives. Thank you for listening. Please reach out if you have any questions or if you are ready to let go of your old emotional baggage. And this is our website, healthierlivingforyou.com, or you can email us at john@hl4y.com. And now I'd love to introduce our next presenter. Abby Thatcher has dedicated 12 years of herself to the RCMP. When she was diagnosed with PTSD, she decided to take a medical retirement and is now focusing on showing others, first responders, how to stay happy and healthy before things get out of control. Abby is hoping that her resilience will be a good role model to others to prove there are things that can be done even while working in a high-stress environment. Abby is a qualified flourishing wellness, workplace, and business coach, and looking forward to assisting first responders how to use and utilize healthy coping tools and showing them how to build on their strengths so they can continue to be resilient. Unfortunately, Abby was unable to be here tonight, but has given her pre-recorded presentation. So here we go. Take it away, Abby.
Everybody. Thank you so much, John, for that introduction. And just bear with me while I try and figure out how to screen share. So I just want to let everybody know how grateful I am for technology and that I had the ability to create this recording to share my knowledge with you all today. I just want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules and to acknowledge how crazy life can be and to celebrate that you're taking the time to be here with us today. To celebrate you, to putting yourself first in this very moment and to discover yourself within. On my journey of healing, I've discovered how important self-care is, and I've realized that I should have been doing this prior to my diagnosis. And self-care will keep you on that track of a healthy and joyful life in your mind, body, and soul. So a little bit about myself. I went off work in December 2018 after multiple traumas throughout my career with the police department. And I was floating along while attempting to survive. I was finally introduced to self-care in the fall of 2019 when I took part in a 3-month inpatient trauma treatment center. I was very blessed to be with a group of open-minded individuals who were all looking for healthier coping mechanisms, which as I look back, I am very grateful because I wasn't aware of it at the time, but I had become easily influenced by others. And when I took that time to reflect, I realized I used to have judgmental and negative thinking people in my life who would be afraid to try new things and instead just make fun of the ideas. And as I've traveled this new path to happy and healthy, I have learned about setting boundaries and not worrying about what others say, think, or do. And that is very important to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and moving in the same direction as myself. My health is my number one priority, and I have learned that saying no is not a bad thing. And knowing the people I have in my life now respect my boundaries when I set them. So, what is self-care? The Oxford Dictionary says it's the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. Wikipedia says self-care has been defined as the process of establishing behaviors to ensure holistic well-being of oneself, to promote health and actively manage illness when it occurs. For myself, it's about filling up my cup before trying to fill up anybody else's. Some questions that you may want to ask yourself in order to get yourself to start kind of thinking what's going to work for you is, what does make you happy? What puts that smile on your face? What makes you relax and just take a big, satisfying sigh? Those shoulders are dropped. So if you want to write out lists, revamp them on a regular basis. You can write these questions out on a sticky note and put them somewhere where you can see them on a daily basis. I use my bathroom mirror. Some people I've talked to put them on the dash of their car so that you have that time to just really quiet your mind, have some reflection time on those questions. Some things to think about what will work best for you for your self-care are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? Do you want to be surrounded by friends and social time, or do you want that quiet time? One of the hardest things that I'm still working on is, how do you speak to yourself? I never used to be able to catch who I call my mean girl when she was talking to me. But as I've become more aware of my body and mind connection, I celebrate it when I catch her making those snide little comments, and I will reword them to have a more positive outlook. So why self-care? Builds confidence, self-esteem. It will help with a positive mindset. It will bring that balance to your life, and again, healthy boundaries. I look at it as seeing yourself as a whole. One of the things that I learned in the flourishing wellness coaching is we need to take care of our body so that it can run efficiently. To keep in mind that there's a strong connection between the body and the mind, and when you're caring for your body, you'll think and feel better as well. And you always need to remember it's going to look different for everybody. So it's about finding what works for you and not what someone else is like, this is the key, this is it, you have to do this. I encourage everybody to try different things once. I have tried so many different things. I've weeded things out. I tried things multiple times before they started to resonate with me. And then I just build on what I found works best for me. So routine, one thing to look into is having a daily or weekly routine. Again, what works best for you? Everybody has a different definition of busy lives. And to remember that as you travel this path, that flexibility and change is okay and allowed as you discover new practices. And just to keep talking to yourself in the kind and positive way, and to have empathy when things don't go as planned. Another thing that I've learned from flourishing is that mentally fit people who consistently perform at a high level have a routine. Almost all of them have personal customs, consistent habits, and daily practices that they've refined and applied to their lives. And you can't say enough about the power of routine. It's very important because the things that we do every day matters more than the things that we do occasionally. So daily, make your bed. It's the first thing that you can accomplish in the morning, and it takes less than a minute. I have a mantra that I tell myself every day, and feel free to use it, tweak it, research mantras online. Mine is everything always works out for me. Weekly routines, have a date with yourself. Don't book it with anybody else. Go for a coffee, go for a walk. Are you an artist? Do you want to sketch? Take a class, yoga, learn a new language, pottery, just something that you've always wanted to do, and just set that date up. And I mean, even if maybe it's a monthly thing and not a weekly thing. Some ideas for self-care. I look at self-care in 3 different areas of mentally, physically, and socially. Physical care includes how you're fueling your body. So food, how much sleep you're getting, how much physical activity you're doing. Mental self-care is meditation, yoga, learning a new skill, challenging your brain. And then social is meeting up with that friend, somebody who you feel safe and at home with, or volunteering for something that's near and dear to your heart. Some of the things that have worked for myself is float pods. Very challenging if you haven't done meditation in the past, so do some research on them. Amazing for your body physically. It's like an Epsom salt bath that just makes your skin feel so soft. Some pods will play music, some pods will be completely silent. So definitely do your research for the area that you live in. Go for an ocean dip. Water therapy, amazing. Nature therapy, get out into the mountains for a hike, out on the trail on your bike. Earthing or grounding. There is a YouTube video called Earthing, and I highly recommend it for everybody to watch. But I found some information from a Healthline website that said it's a therapeutic technique that focuses on realigning your electrical energy by reconnecting to the earth. There is little research behind grounding, but the smaller studies have reported benefits for inflammation, pain, mood, and more. For myself, I just find that big, deep, satisfying sigh. It just calms me down. So look into it. It's amazing. Listen to music, listen to motivational speeches that resonate with you, find speakers that there's just something about their voice that you just have that connection with. Read a book. One thing that I still have to remind myself to do from time to time when you have gotten into your head, something crazy is going on, stop and smile. I'm sure there's research on it out there. I haven't done it personally, but I know that when I do that, something shifts in your body and you can kind of slow everything down, get out of the amygdala hijack, whatever you need to do. But that smile, even if you have to force it onto your face, changes everything. At the end of the day, you can't always get it all done. And you must prioritize what is most important. And we can sometimes think it's more important, isn't always the case. For myself, I am the most important because if I'm healthy, then I can actually take more on. So thank you all so much for taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it. I apologize for not being able to be here live with everybody. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on my Facebook page or my email. So next up is Diane. I would love to introduce you to her. She has been working with people throughout her entire career. She became a coach several years ago, wanting to help others to become their best self. Diane has worked through traumas, which she has experienced and wants to help others do the same. Diane has attained several certifications and utilizes her expertise and experiences to help others build healthy relationships with themselves. One of Diane's greatest joys is seeing someone let go of what's been holding them back and understand their great potential. She will work with them to assist in moving forward and living the best life possible. So take it away, Diane. Thank you.
Oop, wrong way. Oops. Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. Try this again. Over the course of what I've been doing with all of my coaching, one of the things that came up, forgiveness has been a really, really huge thing. And where it came about was I did a course, and the idea was to monetize speaking. And the question we were asked was, if this was your last speech, what would it be about? And forgiveness instantly came up. It was a time about a year and a half ago with all of the reconciliation, and the Pope had just been in Canada apologizing to the Indigenous people. And there was an article in the paper, and this person said, I cannot forgive. And it broke my heart, because by not forgiving, there was no benefit to the person who was holding on to it. So this is your path to forgiveness, and understanding the need to forgive and let go. My personal forgiveness journey, wow, it's been a lot. I was sexually assaulted twice over the course of my life. The first time I was 15, and it was date rape. It was the 70s, and it wasn't something that you talked about. It was blame the victim, first of all, but it was just buried. And I did exactly that. I buried it. But what I noticed was, over the course of time, it affected my relationships. My first two marriages, yes, I've been married more than twice, were not healthy relationships at all. The first one was, he thought a lot about himself, and it was always him, and I needed to look after him. But that one actually ended when he hit me. I was smart enough to get out, one strike and you're out. The second one was 15 years of mental and emotional abuse, my second marriage. The second sexual assault happened after that, and I sat on it for a couple of days, and I honestly felt like I wanted to harm myself. So I went to this local sexual assault center, and I talked to one of the counselors there, and she took me to the police station, and we filed a report, and we went back, and they told me at the police station that the chances of anything going forward because of circumstances, that it wasn't going to happen. So we went back to the sexual assault center, and what she said to me changed my life. She said, because you took action, you are no longer a victim, you are a survivor. And those words resonated with me and literally changed my life. And I live by them all the time now. So the other thing as I was journeying, is I understood that I needed to let go of some of those feelings that were maybe holding me back. I went through a lot of counseling after my second marriage. I had to find myself again. And that was really important, because who was I? And as I found myself, there was things holding me back because of my experiences, and I had to let those go. I actually had to stop and forgive the people who hurt me. And forgiveness isn't a one-time thing. It could be you think you've forgiven and something happens and it comes right back again, all those feelings, and it's I forgive again, something that we need to do. So what is forgiveness and why should I forgive? Forgiveness is a decision to let go of resentment and thoughts of revenge. And why should I forgive? If it's not about the person who hurt us, it's about letting go of the hurt and moving forward. And I've heard this before, and I read it again this morning. There is a quote, and I can't tell you who said it because it's been attributed to multiple people, but unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. That it's exactly what it is, because it's hurting us more than it hurts anybody else. So how can unforgiveness affect us? This is a very, very short list. So it's physical, it's psychological, it's mental. There's all kinds of things. There's possible weight gain, high blood pressure, loss of friendships, loss of connections with others, depression. I forget all of the other ones, but it's people, the loss of connection. People don't want to hang around us because we're so busy ruminating and hanging on to the past that we're not moving forward. And those are not people that are a lot of fun to be around. We all know them, and how much do we really hang around with them? This is a lot in here, but the key points for forgiveness, they're so important. What happened is not condoned. Forgiveness is not deserved. Nobody deserves forgiveness. We are giving it to them almost, it's a gift. And they may not even know that you forgave them. But what happened is still serious. You do have no need to reconcile with that other person. That you may be stuck with them in your life because it's somebody that, could be a family member. But you don't have to recognize, this is where the next one comes in, that boundaries still need to be set. So if you have to be around them, you need to set boundaries with them. Consequences are still required. Abuses or crimes need to be reported, and that can be really hard if there's a lot of fear involved. Pain needs to be processed. Forgiveness can be an emotional experience, but just because you're feeling those emotions doesn't mean that you shouldn't start the process of forgiveness. And the feelings will, and trust me on this, the feelings will subside over time as long as we're making that conscious effort to forgive and let go. And trusting the person who hurt you is not at all a requirement. You earn trust. So if they've hurt you and you choose to keep that person in your life, they have to earn that trust. And that is entirely up to you. How do you benefit from forgiving? Healthier relationships, you have much better mental health, a stronger immune system, you have better heart health, lower blood pressure, less anxiety, better self-esteem. When I did my speech, I kind of said that list of the negative things, it was like playing a country song backwards. So where you get the horse comes back, the wife comes back, the car comes back, you get the job again. So you're just reversing all of those effects. And one really big thing is, do you need to forgive yourself? It's probably one of the hardest things that you will ever do, is to forgive yourself, because we really tend to blame ourselves for things that have happened. For me, with the second sexual assault, it should have been, I should have, or I shouldn't have. I should not have put myself in that situation that allowed that to happen. I had to let go of that and forgive myself, because I needed to move forward. And as far as that controls, you can't control the actions of others. You can only control yourself. I may have put myself in the place that I was, but I didn't control what happened to me. He made that choice, not me. So I forgave myself, and I ultimately forgave him. Forgiving is not forgetting. A lot of people they say they can't forgive because they can't forget. You don't have to forget what happened in order to forgive. We use that experience to move forward. If I had forgotten all of the stuff that happened to me, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be speaking about it. And there are people who need to hear what I have to say. And there are people who need to hear what you have to say. So if you forgive, you take that, you move forward. After the emotions are gone, it's so much easier to talk about it. I've talked about the sexual assaults, and I've gotten emotional, but I almost have to be in the right place for that to happen. But I have moved past it. It's part of my past, it's part of my history, and it's part of my story. So do yourself a favor, let go, forgive, and move forward. And one thing that I want to add to this is, and I found this the most powerful thing. I wrote two letters actually to the two people that I needed to forgive. I was past the emotion, and I wrote down that I forgave them. Wrote down what I forgave them for, and I said that I was letting it go. I was no longer holding on to those negative feelings. I'm done. I'm moving forward. They're still in my life, so I'm going to have to probably forgive them again. But that what happened before is in the past, and I can move forward from that. And it was all in that letter. And I grabbed a friend and I read it to her, and then it was New Year's Eve a year ago, and we took it outside and literally burned it, which was a little hard because, paper's falling down onto the concrete and it was wet, but it got done. But that was the most freeing thing that I have ever done, just to let that go and literally watch all of that stuff go up in smoke. I'd like to thank you for your time and for coming out tonight. If you want more information, Diane Stevenson, It's Your Life Coaching. There's my website, and there's my email as well. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've presented tonight? Feel free to unmute yourself and to ask the question to any one of the speakers, well, except Abby, unfortunately, to any one of the speakers. No? Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out and for sharing your time tonight. And I hope you're all taking something away from one of our speakers. And we really appreciate you being. Thank you so much from Angela, TK, John, Abby, and Diane, myself.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Home is on your sweetheart. Thank you. Have a good night.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
You